Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen, live on Neeves Knives. How's everybody doing tonight? Opened up with the titanium frame lock Kubi, Titius, whatever it's called. Shout out to Q Ball in the chat. He actually turned me to it, and I grabbed the green titanium one. I was lucky enough to get it for the 95 bones. However, the price went back up to 120. But if you go to, I'm actually just going to show it to you guys. I don't have an affiliate link, so it's not going to be linked. So you just have to go to the site. But this site has them for $100 right here. Homer Steel. It looks, I think all they do is carry Kubis. I'm not sure. Maybe not. Maybe they do other knives. I don't know. But they have some of these left. 14C28N Homer Steel, 14C28N and titanium. They have multiple different colors. They even have the tiger striped one. Really nice milling. These things are awesome, man. It's probably the closest you'll get to a Koenig Arius for $100. And that's the truth. The budget ones, or sorry, the affordable ones, which would be the G10 liner lock models, like $40. But yeah, look at that action, man. They did such a good job with that flipper tab, putting, oh, you guys can't see it, putting it up that high. Fantastic knife. We got a couple other knives we're going to check out here in 1 second. I do also have a brand, well, I guess it's not brand new because I did have a tester of it, but I got the full bottle here, fragrance that I'm really excited to show you guys again because, man, I'm loving it. Custom EDC Knives, shout out to him for the 2 bones. Hi, everyone. How's it going? Shout out to Custom EDC Knives. Hey, folks, what knives you all got carrying today? So I actually, well, because last night, yesterday, me and Kara went somewhere and filmed. The video is going to be coming out in the next couple days. I put a lot of work. I'm putting a lot of work into it. So hopefully it's a really, really good one. I'm really excited about it. It's kind of unique to some extent. We went and filmed somebody's collection, and I think it's going to be a pretty cool video. So hopefully you guys watch it. Like I said, I'm putting a lot of work into the video, and you guys will see when you guys see the video. So even just the recording part was a lot of effort. But I carried, what did I carry today? Well, right now I got the Cubit on me. That's because I'm in jogging pants. So since I'm in workout pants, I'm carrying, I always carry this when I'm wearing shorts or jogging pants or anything, just sharpen it up. Also, right when I got home last night, I did a live sharpening with somebody that's a Bang Gang member. That's one of the members. He's one of the Rockstead members. So the top tier members get a one-on-one with me if they ever want. They can request it. And he requested it. So when I got home from filming, I don't know, it was like 8:30 or something. We did a live sharpening together, and I sharpened this bad boy up. He sharpened his up, and his edge came out really good. So I was excited to hear that it was his best edge yet. So that makes me feel good that through the camera, I'm able to help somebody else get good quality edges. I don't even have to say my carry. Y'all know I don't. What is it, Ian? What are you carrying? I don't even know. I enjoy the fixed blade video. Well, that's cool because we're actually going to talk a little bit about it because I have its cousin next to me. So if you like that video, you know what? I messed up, guys. I literally had a whole section of video of Kara actually using this. And I don't know how I messed up, but I didn't put it in. And then after I uploaded it, it was already uploaded. And it was either take it down and risk, messing the video up, which it didn't do that great anyway. So it really would have done bad. So we just kind of left it. However, so what we're talking about doing is maybe taking some clips of some stuff and putting it all together and uploading it for the members. But anyways, so yes, the KATSU short sword. This thing is pretty badass. It really is. But I have the other one here that I have done a video on as well, which it's kind of, they're not the same whatsoever, but they are kind of the same purpose, but not really, because this one's a lot slicier. Like this one just feels a lot slicier. And when you're cutting like bush and stuff like that, it cuts really good. However, I don't know how good it would be for like camping. I mean, I imagine it'd be just fine, but this one is a little bit longer. So it's a little bit more sword-like, and it's definitely really good for like self-defense and stuff. And hey, it worked okay for like bushcraft stuff, even though it's not for that. The spine is just too thin. This one can actually do bushcraft, but it's still a little bit slim for that. But for like cutting down weeds and stuff like that, it works great. Is that right? Nope. I see I have a donation. Let me get to it really quick. But yeah, these things are pretty cool. SLD Magic Steel. I don't know much about that steel. I'm still learning about it. 2 bones, Jones. Thank you, brother. Damn it. Someone beat me to the 2 bones. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. Yeah, that's what happens when you're late. I'm just joking. If I send you a knife, will you reprofile and sharpen it, please? Let me know the cost. No, right now my books are closed. I have knives in from other people that I have to get sharpened and send out. But right now my books are closed. I don't have the time or the space or anything for it right now. And in order for me to like before, when I was running the sharpening service, because I ran the sharpening service for a couple of years, but it was much easier because I was doing it as a part of the business, and it was a whole set income that I was making, and it was working out at the time for the time being. Now it's kind of it's not a smart business move for me at this point. So, I would have to charge a lot more. And it just doesn't make sense, right? And I don't want to, I'm not trying to rip people off, right? So I don't want to charge you something I don't even think it's worth, right? But I also don't want to lose money trying to, because so what you guys don't understand is like some knives, yeah, it's quick, it's fast. But other knives, there's knives that take me hours to sharpen. Like I'm not exaggerating, like hours. I had a knife one time come in that it took me like 4 days to sharpen it because it was so beat up, it was so messed up, it was so thick, like just so ungodly thick. Even if I threw it on a fixed inlet system, it still would have took me probably 4 or 5 hours to sharpen. So when you start getting into that, it's hard to set a price for that, right? Like you set a price like, oh, $50, but is it really worth $50? So if you put 4 or 5 hours into it, now, of course, there's, like I said, like stuff that'll take me 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. But you don't know. Brandon says, hey, I want to thank you, man. You inspired me to start the process of starting my own channel, and I just got a new strap and watch your video to get a wicked sharp edge on my blades. That's awesome, man. That's very cool. Well, shout out to you. Why don't you put your channel name in the comments so people know where to find you? But that's awesome, man. Good for you, and good for you on the edges too, man. I always love hearing, and I like helping people learn how to sharpen. Like that's why I like being able to help people just learn how to sharpen their own stuff. And I don't mind sharpening friends and family's knives. And every once in a while, maybe I'll open up my books for something special and take on 20 or 40 knives. But it's just not a smart business move for me at this point to open up my books because I'll have hundreds of knives here, and then it's very difficult for me to keep up with editing and everything else. Like right now, like I'm backed up. Like I have so much recording to do and so much editing to do. I have a video right now. It's going to take me a few days to edit. And every minute I spend doing something else is time away from that. I have hard time learning to sharpen knives. Go through my sharpening playlist. I have a full playlist of sharpening videos teaching you how to sharpen knives. I also have the members live sharpening tomorrow, 12:15 p.m. If you are a member. If you're not a member, you can join the membership. It's linked down in the description. But if you are a member, tomorrow we have a live sharpening. So we'll be doing that at 12:15. You got the CRKT or the CRK Sabenza, not the CRKT Sabenza. Got a question, everyone. I'm wanting a button lock. What is the best button lock? I'm stuck between the Pyrite and the CIVIVI Elementum 2. What does everyone think? So I would say go between the Pyrite or the Echo. Now, if I personally, between those three, I would pick the Elementum, but also the Elementum is a gravity knife. So, I mean, not saying that it's legally a gravity knife, but I'm saying there's no deployment option besides the button. So, unless if you like that, which I personally do, but some people would rather have a flipper or some thumb studs. So if you'd rather have an opening deployment, then I would go with the Echo if I was you. Now, other than that, the CIVIVI Cubit is amazing. This is an amazing knife. I love this knife. But so is the Pyrite. The Pyrite's really good. And yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're trying to pick between a Pyrite and the Elementum 2, I'd take the Elementum 2, but most people would probably say the Pyrite as far as having action. Because you don't, because with the Pyrite, you can still push the button and swing it. Right. So just like with a button lock Elementum, you have to push the button and swing it, which you can still do with the Pyrite. But with the Pyrite, you can also reverse flick it, which you can't do with this. They do have the smaller version of this with a flipper tab, but I think this one's better. It's just a better knife. So it depends on what you're wanting it for. If you're wanting it for a tool, I'd take the Elementum. Yeah, I am just one guy. That's the thing. I am just one guy, and that's it. That is the thing. Like I'm spread super thin already, and like people just don't realize like the things I'm doing in the background. Like even like with my editing app, I am just now starting to get the hang of my new editing app. My old editing app crashed. I had to get a new one, which this one is 10 times more like developed than my old one. So like for me to learn it, it is very frustrating and it takes a long time. I'm just now starting to hang of it, and there's a million things I still have to learn. Like I've literally barely cracked the surface of it, but cracking the surface will get you to good content. But there's difference between intermediate and expert, right? I'm still in the intermediate levels, and that's the only way I can do it is by learning and doing it, and that's what I'm doing right now. And then on top of that, right, I have to film constantly all day, and it's a lot of work. But I do my best to keep up. But before, it was really easy for me because my editing was so much easier, the filming was so much easier, everything was so much easier, and I needed that money. So the money incentive was there, and I did really well with it. I was doing good running the sharpening service. It definitely helped pay the bills while when the channel wasn't doing this good. If there was no Mordex, there wouldn't be a Malibu. Probably not. I wish they would do more manual knives, though. Just picked up a Lion Steel Best Man. I love it. Not my normal style. The Cubit is great, weighs nothing at all. Yeah, no, it's 2.5 ounces. It's very light. Another really good one for lightweight knives, and I know I just showed it in a video. I think it was earlier today. The SENCUT, or maybe it was yesterday. I don't know. The SENCUT BOCLL, if it'll fucking focus. The SENCUT BOCLL, this thing is so awesome. Like, I'm not saying it's obviously not a hard use knife. It's not even a work knife, but for an EDC knife, this thing is amazing because of this handle. Like, look at the handle. Like, it's just such a basic handle. So it makes it to where you can cut around things like peeling in apples. Like, it's so quick, opening things up. The blade is so thin. It's so slicey. This thing's awesome. I really, really liked it. This is probably in my top 5 right now, best gift knives. Like, if you're going to gift knife, or gift a knife to somebody, the BOCLL 2 is fantastic. I would put it right next to like the CIVIVI Elementum, the regular one. The CIVIVI Bow, that's another one. They're all CIVIVIs, it seems like, because they do such a good job. Jared, have you gotten the new lens yet? No, I put that on the back burner. We had some stuff come up that which was a massive expense that backed us up. So it'll probably be a little bit. So we'll see. I still want to get it. It's just not like it's not a priority. Before it was a want, and I still want it, but I have to deal with priorities first. I watched a ProTech documentary on Blade HQ on YouTube. Swore the Mordex came first. So the Mordex did come first, but not the ProTech Mordex. So the Mordex was originally from Fair and Forge. It's a Fair and Forge custom. Came a long time ago. So that's what was first. And then the ProTech Mordex came. And then the Pro Tech Malibu came. So the Malibu is second. Have tried putting a mirror on 15V yet. It sounds like it might be a pain, but I'm tempted to give it a try. I put a mirror on mine and it went great. Took a great polished edge. Held it pretty good too. I think it held a toothy edge a little bit better, but it held a polished edge just fine for me. I definitely wasn't like upset at the results, you know, after using it. Have you tried putting them? Yes, I did. Yes. And it does take it. Hey, Neevesknives, it's me. I asked you the last stream about buying a Deca or a Yojimbo 2. I bought a Kershaw Leak and MagnaCut. Next purchase will be the Deca. Very cool. Yeah, that Leak is pretty cool. The only problem with it, and I'm not trying to make you feel bad about your purchase. It's a good purchase. I'm sure it's great. Especially for the money. But Kershaw is running their MagnaCut at 6162, which I don't know why. Like, you know, the thing that's crazy to me is that, you know, with the knife community, we have so many results, right? Like, there's so much information out there now. It's not like it was 10, 20 years ago where, you know, there was ignorance, right? You just didn't know, right? You didn't know like what steel was better than another or what HRC to put it at, yada yada yada. But we have so much information now. It's very easy for a company to know what they should do, what's best, right? And it's very easy for them to just reach out to somebody who does know if they don't know. So for them to do it at 6162 just shows like pure ignorance or them trying to keep costs down or something. I don't know. I don't know what else it could be, because it should be done at 63, 64. And anybody would tell you that, you know, like even the maker of the steel would tell you for that type of application for the Kershaw Leak, right? That's not a hard use knife, right? You're not looking for toughness on that knife, right? You're looking for edge retention, and it's a plenty tough steel. So it doesn't make sense to do it like that. Can you tell me about Diamond 1000 stone? How hard or soft is on steel? I don't know what you mean. Can you tell me about Diamond 1000? A 1000 grit diamond stone? Is that what you're asking me? On soft is on. I don't know I don't understand the question, Nikolai. You can get 1000 grit diamond plate. I would recommend making sure you have a coarse grit first. So I'm just gonna guess what you're asking me, and hopefully I answer it correctly. If I was you, I would get a coarse diamond plate first, 300 grit or lower, right? 1000 grit is a finishing stone. It's not a sharpening stone. So think of anything. Basically, for sharpening, you want something 300 grit or lower. You could say 400 grit or lower. I like to say 300 grit or lower. So 140 grit up to 300 grit should be your first stone. Your second stone can be 400 to 600 grit or even 800 grit, right? And then your third stone can be 1000 grit to 1200 grit to 1500 grit, something like that, right? So you don't want to spread your jump. You don't want to spread each stone too far, but you also want to make sure you get the lower ones first. So unless if you already have a 300 and a 600 or a 200 and a 400, you don't even want 1000 grit. The 1000 grit's not going to do you any good. The best stone you can have is your first stone, and that's the lowest grit. That's what's going to sharpen your knife. The rest just refines it. But yeah, you can use diamonds on any steel. Any steel. You can use it on even softer steels. Hey, Jared, I just thought of a good idea for a video. Top 10 knives that always hold their value. Knives that are easy to sell off later because of demand will be high and will get most money back. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Knives that hold their value. I think I did that one a long time ago, but I always repeat videos because there's times where like I know a video is really good and it just tanks. And it's because of when I dropped it or whatever was going on in the world at the moment. So, but I could have done the exact same video and dropped it 2 months later and it'd do great. So I like to repeat videos. That's why I had like 5 videos, like not the exact same where it's the same knives, but the same video, like title, name, and idea. Jared, what stones do you recommend for the Workshop Pro with aftermarket stone holder? I recommend if you can afford it, go with Venev, Venev. I have them linked down in the description in the Neevesknives store. So that's my number one pick is Vinives. If you can't afford Vinives, which is a resin bonded diamonds, so it's diamonds inside of a resin, so they last pretty much forever. Like they're going to last you a very, very long time. If you can't afford those, because they are expensive, then go with Atoma. ATOMA. They're also linked down in the description. Make sure it's a 1x6 because that's the size you're going to need for the aftermarket stone holder attachment. But Atoma diamond plates, get a 140, a 400, a 600, and a 1,000 or 1,200 or something. Start off with the low ones first. I have a 1,200 and a 1,500 for my PA Pro. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can go all the way up once you get over, like, as long as you have the low grit stones, you can get as many stones as you want. You can go up to 10,000 grit if you want. I personally like to stop around 5K personally for me, because 5K is a mirror polished edge, and it has very, 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 very tiny scratch marks. You can't even barely see them. But the point is that it's at a grit where you have the mirror polish, but it still holds a lot of bite. Like a massive amount of bite on the right steel. Obviously some steels will polish the teeth off, but with steels that do well with mirror polishes, 5,000 grit is that's like the sweet spot. Okay, you answered me. Thank you, Jared. No problem, Nikolai. No problem. You need to repeat videos just because new knives. That's another thing. Yeah, new knives come out. Everything changes. Yeah, for sure. That's definitely true. You always have new knives coming out, and you can always. But there's certain videos that are perfect to repeat, right? Because new knives come out. But then there's also the ones where it's a video where you could use different types of knives, right? So in that case, I like to do as many of them as I can. But like videos, like what I meant was like videos where it's not about that. It's about like steels, right? Where I did what edge to put on what steel. I've done that video 3 times now. The first video I did, I wasn't happy with. The second one I did was good. I was happy with it. But the third one I did was the really good one. That's the one where I had the most information. I knew the most. And I knew like the time span of which when I first did it. It makes sense, because now hopefully more people will watch it. Anyone know what angle the Jack Wolf Gunslinger sharpened to from stock? It's probably 25 degrees, 25 or 30 degrees per side, because this is the thing. Those are extremely, extremely thin. They're like 6, 7, 8 thousandths behind the edge, maybe 10 thousandths at the most. So you don't want to put a super low angle on those because it'll be too fragile. It's already sharp. Like even dull, those things can cut, right? Because they're so thin. So from the factory, they're probably between 25 and 30 degrees per side, which I know on most standards, like that's a super high angle, right? But when you're talking about something that thin, it's not that bad. So personally for me, if I was going to resharpen it, I would sharpen it at 20 degrees per side. That's what I would put it at, which is not going to make your bevel very big, but I wouldn't go above 22 degrees per side personally for me. 22, maybe 25, which would be like their factory edge. But that's what I'm guessing it's at, probably 25 degrees per side. Just hooking up. Did I hear you correctly a while back that Canadian border services were seizing knives? Canadian borders are always seizing knives. What's up now? Yeah, Canadians are always seizing your knives. They don't like you guys. So the Deca have better higher HRC than the Leak. Yes. So the Hogue Deca is 63 to 64 now. So they raised theirs. There was 61 to 62. I actually tested one of theirs at 61 to 62, and it still did good. Don't get me wrong, it still did good. But the steel I tested at 63 to 64 smoked the steel between 61 and 62. I think it got it by about 150 feet or something like that, or close to it. But the thing was that the first test also wasn't perfect push cuts, and the second test was. So it actually beat it more than the numbers would even reflect. But yeah, the Hogues are all doing 63 to 64 now, which that's what they should have done from the start. And shout out to them for changing it though, right? they didn't try to hang on to it and use the excuse, you know, like that whatever, I don't know, whatever kind of fucking excuse they can come up with, like some of these other guys say, right? Like Hinder saying what they say to me. I asked them why it was so low. They said, well, it depends on who you ask. Who the fuck are you asking that's saying 59 to 60? Who? What person on this planet is recommending 59 to 60 on folding knives? It doesn't make sense for MagnaCut. So the Echo is a gravity knife? No. Is that just as good as a Pyrite? No, the Echo is it's just like the Pyrite. Just go watch my video. I got videos on it. It's just like the Pyrite. It's just a little bit different. It has more of a sheep's foot blade, and it has two forms of deployment instead of one. So I have it somewhere. I don't think it's right here. Otherwise, I'd pull it. I have a Pyrite nearby, but my Echo is in the other room. But the Echo has the front flipper and a hole deployment. So it has two deployments, and then you can use the button to swing it. So you can take the button just like this and go like this. So technically 3 deployments. The Pyrite only has the hole or the thumb stud, depending on which model you get. You can get the thumb stud version or the hole version, but that leaves one deployment option aside from pushing the button and swinging it. I would recommend the Echo, but a lot of people love the Pyrite. So there's nothing wrong with the Pyrite. They're super similar. Let me be clear. They're very, very, very similar. So the Pyrite or the Echo is slightly, very, very slightly bigger. Like not bigger to where you would say it's a bigger knife, but it's slightly more comfortable in the hand. Zero says just got an Ultim MagnaCut Deca, and I gave it a wave mod and sharpened false edge. Very cool. That's awesome. Huh. You sharpened the false edge. You sharpened the spine on it? I just got a TS Profit today. Thanks for doing a good review. Thank you, man. That's awesome, man. Hell yeah. Very cool. And you know what, guys? Anytime you guys are making a purchase, you know, I do appreciate if you guys use my links. It massively helps the channel. Whether you're buying sharpening supplies, sharpening devices, or knives, I have everything always linked down in the description. You can hit any one of the links, like TS Profs and stuff. I have them down in the store. You just go to the Neevesknives store for sharpening stuff. For knives, you can go to any one of the knife dealers down there, and then we get a kickback, and it definitely helps. And I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I need to get diamonds, coarse, medium, and fine. What do you recommend for EDC and home use? So if you're not doing like crazy amounts of sharpening, I would say get ultra sharps. Ultra sharps are rather affordable. You can get 3 2x6s, 2x6 plates for like $53. But the big ones, which I mostly recommend, 3x8s are going to be like $138, something like that. But you'll get a 300, a 600, and a 1200 grit. That's all you really need. You're going to want a base though. So you have to buy a base for $20. Now you could just do the 2x6s. They're smaller stones or smaller plates, and diamond plates do eventually wear out, but diamond plates are the best because you don't have to worry about maintaining the stones. You don't have to worry about keeping them wet, keeping them oiled. Are they flat? All these things you don't have to worry about. You can just start sharpening. You can literally set the stone down with a diamond plate. You can just set it down and start sharpening. You don't have to worry about nothing. You don't have to worry about lube, water, nothing. You just go to town. Now you can put water on it if you want to, but you don't have to. But yeah, if you go into my Neevesknives store down in the description, I have actually my most recommended sharpening stuff. The ultra sharps are in there. You'll see the Atomas in there too. Echo is my favorite budget knife so far this year. It's awesome, right? Yeah, and it's a Ray Laconico design. Thanks, Frank. I should have said that. Yeah, that is an awesome one. You know, speaking of budget knives, this new SENCUT, was it the Shank? What was it? The SLASHKIN. The SLASHKIN. It's pretty awesome. This thing, it's got a nice deep hollow grind. If it'll focus. It's got a nice deep hollow grind, beautiful drop point blade, super ergonomic. Look at how smooth this thing is. So smooth. This might be the smoothest SENCUT I've gotten out of the box. Beautiful thumb stud and flipper action. You can see, look at the flipper tab. Look at how high it is to the pivot. It is this thing. You just barely break that detent, and that thing cranks out there. So now if you put any effort into it, that thing hammers out. Thumb studs are easy to get to. My one complaint is the lock bar access could be a little bit better. It's not horrifying, but it definitely could be a little better. But the knife overall, solid choice. And these things are like, I think 40 bucks, 43 bucks, something like that. These guys are only like $37. And that's another reason why they make great gift knives, man. Shit, just getting it for yourself. Give yourself a gift. These things are awesome. It's like a perfect secondary knife. I've taken some time to at least attempt to step up my sharpening game, and I sharpened my Kershaw Scallion so well, my sister was even shocked. Very cool. Hell yeah. It always feels good when you can get yourself a good edge on one of your knives. TS Prof, which one, Cadet or KO3? And there's a third model, I believe. So there's if you're going with the Cadet, get the Cadet Pro. Don't get the Cadet Nero, get the Cadet Pro. The Cadet Nero is fine, but the Cadet Pro is an upgraded version of the Nero. The KO3 is going to be the better version of those, just because it's bigger, but it's also more expensive. I don't think you need to get the KO3, but you could, right? It's just more money. Now, as far as the Cadet Pro goes, you might, if you do get it, you're going to want to get an extra clamp. So, excuse me, with the Cadet, you have different clamps you can take off, put on. It only comes with one, right? And that one is the most versatile one, but you can order a different clamp. You can get fillet clamps, like for super thin, super small blades. You can get a single clamp where it's just one set of jaws, kind of like a KME. I would recommend getting that. Get the one set of jaws with it, so now you can do big knives and really small knives with the Cadet Pro. But that's the one I would recommend if you want to save a little bit of money. Get the extra clamp, get the Cadet Pro. But if you got the money, go with the KO3. I mean, it's going to cost you a little bit more. But, like with anything, it costs you more for a reason. I think White Mountain Knives should kite you a percent. Yeah, they don't. I use your code, and that 10% off sometimes gets me off the fence. Yeah, we don't get anything from that. I've tried. I don't know. They won't. They just, I don't know. Whatever. I always give myself a gift, but it's from Total Wine. Yeah, I try to get as many affiliates as I can, guys. I literally try talking and reaching out to every single company I possibly can, because I like to be able to link everything I possibly can for you guys. So and 99% of anything I talk about, I can link, right? Which is good, because then I'm not incentivized to only check out things I can link, right? Most things I can link. And things I can't, I don't worry about it that much, but I like to link things when I can. What do you look for when you're deburring your knife? I'm having trouble identifying what I'm looking for. So one, you have to be able to identify the burr itself. If you can identify the burr, right, and you have a burr, make sure it's from heel to tip. So from heel to tip. Let me grab a knife. So make sure the burr goes from here to the tip. Make sure you can feel it the whole way, right? Rub your finger just like this, and you'll feel it. So you're just letting it slide. You'll feel like a little wire, or it's like gritty. Once you know it's there, then take and basically do a stropping motion on a stone. So like, let's pretend this is the stone. Go, just don't drop the stone, but take the stone and go like this. Start with the tip and go just like this. Just like you're stropping, and then go to the other side. Very gentle, zero pressure, no pressure. You can literally do it with 2 fingers, because you don't want to put pressure. So don't put pressure like you're sharpening, because remember, what you're doing is you're fatiguing the burr. You're taking the burr and you're knocking it over, and then knocking it over, you're going to go back and forth until it pops off. So that requires no pressure. When you put pressure, you're going to change the scratch pattern of your edge bevel. So no pressure, and just do a stropping motion on the stone. Then go to the other side, same thing, stropping motion. Other side, do that about 3-4 times per side. Then strop on a strop. But identifying the burr is the biggest thing you need to do, because once you flip it once, the first time when you do go like that and you flip it, check it and make sure you can feel it. Make sure it flipped. If it didn't flip, do it again. until it flips. Jared, I will definitely hit up your Amazon link for some Atomas later tonight. Thanks again. Much appreciated. Got to run, guys. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Double D-Tent. And yes, I appreciate all you guys when you guys use my affiliate links. And yeah, the Atomas are the #1 diamond plates to get, hands down. Like they're the best diamond plates. I can't think of any other diamond plate that can outbeat them, except for resin bonded diamond plates or diamond stones, but that's different. Homer is a new member. Shout out to Homer. Well, Homer, hopefully you're going to be around tomorrow morning because we have the Bang Gang live tomorrow at 12:15 Central Time. Let me turn this Schmidt on. Sorry, guys, if I missed anything. Nope, haven't missed anything. Pretty cool. So, shout out to the new member. Oh, no. Hang on, guys. I just spilled my coffee. I'm an idiot. Give me 1 second. I just spilled my coffee. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second, man. I can't have this coffee sitting here. It'll mess up my electronics. What an idiot. Somebody clip this and put this all over YouTube. Jared the idiot. Oh, shit. It's all over my thing. I should have made Kara come clean it up. Kara, you're not doing your job. Probably going to have to get a divorce now. Probably going to have to get a divorce. Ed, are you not entertained yet? Scored a Hinder XM18 3.5 non-flipper slicer and S45 tonight. Hell yeah, good for you. Awesome nights. I love the Hinders. I just hate the damn HRCs on their steels. I wish that they cared more about that as much as, because they're a high-end premium knife. Now I understand they're going for a hard use high-end premium knife, but they're still a high-end premium knife. So I think one of the #1 things they should focus on is their heat treat. But people are buying them. People are buying them up like, like they're going out of style. So why would they change? But yeah, they're awesome. I love Hinders. I have plenty of them, and I love them all. Have you seen / tested leading edge universal upgrade kit for the TS Prof KO3 and Cadet on Gritamag? No, but I do have something coming from TS Prof. They said they have a new system. I have no idea I have no idea about it at all. Like literally have no clue if it's a new like big system. I have no idea. Nothing. They just asked me if I wanted to check out this new system they have. I said, yeah. So I have something coming. The last thing they sent me was this little digital angle finder they got. It's pretty cool. I got it. I've been testing it out. But no, I don't know exactly what you're talking about. That Kubi is so stellar. Great green color in the milling is fun. Yeah, I picked the green because you don't see green like this very often on an entire knife. I only have like 2 knives with that color green. So basically, make your edge straight to your strap according to the knife blade shape, following the belly or other shape, always straight to the strap. No. You don't want to go straight to the strap. Going straight to the strap is bad because the only steel you want to go straight to the strap with is S110V. With any other steel, you have to fatigue the burr first. You have to fatigue it. So you first have to basically knock the burr back and forth. So if the burr's on this side, then I'm going to start to strap on that side. Or sorry, not strap. I'm going to start to deburr on that side. This is a stone, not a strap. Let's pretend this is a stone. It's not a strap, it's a stone. I'm going to do a reverse pass on it to knock the burr over to this side. Then I'm going to knock it over to this side. Then I'm going to knock it back over, back over, back over. By now, it should have popped off. And now I go to my strap. And let's say this is my strap. Then I do the same thing and I strap it. That's how you remove a burr professionally. Yeah, she let me down. I mean, I'm definitely going to be looking into the paperwork on this. Jared, why does it sound like you're underwater? You're good, Jared. We are just going to talk about how Neevesknives is going to be Neve's sword soon. What's the greatest action you ever had? Probably Koenig Arius. Koenig Arius, the Holt Spectres, those are just absolutely insane. Shurogoroths are absolutely insane. What else? Yeah, those are probably the best. Oh, the Grimsmo Norsemen or Grimsmo Knives, period. Grimsmo. I had a chance to get a Rask. I didn't take it. I'm an idiot. You could do a knife collection video and show us your personal collection. Well, I do have a knife collection video coming up, but it's not my own collection. But my own collection is just too big. That's the problem. Even just with my own personal stuff, it's very big. But I do have a lot of stuff. Like it's just almost too big. I have a lot of stuff that it's like just for the channel and just for giveaways and stuff. But even just my own like personal stuff, I have some. But yeah, I could maybe put together my faves or something. But still, man, like you always think about another one, right? Like even if like I have a knife, right, and like I'm not really using it or anything, but I love it, I'm still gonna add it into my collection. Like it's because there's just so many great knives that it's hard. Like you'll think about one, you'd be like, oh yeah, that one. You're like, oh yeah, what about that one? And what about that one? Next thing you know, your whole table's full of knives, and the video is 2 hours long. I just ordered that Kubi, $125 for the automatic, $30 coupon when you go to check out. What Kubi is an automatic? This one, like I said, you can go to that site I just showed you a little bit ago, home something, and they're $100 for that one. I don't know which one you're talking about. Are you talking about just 30% off automatically? Is that what you're saying? I just ordered, yeah. Let me scroll down. Then you run into a bubblegum burr, the burr that doesn't want to leave. When you run into that, draw it against wood. If you run into a burr that is on super soft steel and it won't come off, it just refuses to come off, pretend like this is a piece of wood now. Now we have a piece of wood. It went from a stone to a strap. Now it's wood. Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. So pretend this is a piece of wood. You just take the edge and go draw it through it, and that should strip the burr off. Do it gently though. Like you don't have to do it gently, but do it a few times. I really need to sharpen a knife. I really need to sharpen a knife for me. How much? What the fuck is going on? Oh no. I know what's wrong. Hang on, guys. I see what's wrong. Sorry, guys. My battery died. That's what was wrong. I'm not sharpening knives right now. My books are closed. I said it earlier that I have my books closed right now, and they're not going to be opened up for a while, if at all. I do sharpen for friends and family still, so I still do sharpen for people, but I don't have my books open at the moment. It would cost too much right now. 3CR sharpening. Just throw it away. Just buy a new one. For stubborn birds, I use cardboard. A few swipes on the edge of cardboard works wonders. I would say put a compound on it, even if it's McNeese's action is really good too. Yeah. But they don't. It's not like a Grimsmo though. It's not like a Holt or a yeah. Anyways, where was I? I don't remember now. Whatever. Ghost in the Matrix. Ghost in the Matrix. Oh yeah, for the burr. So even if you're using cardboard, I would recommend getting an abrasive to put on there, whether it's a paste or a diamond compound. I personally prefer diamond compounds, or even a piece of wood like the balsa wood or paint sticks, things like that. That all those work great. You can put an abrasive right on top of a paint stick. That will work great for stropping. And it's also really good for flat, perfectly flat edges. Know of any high end front flippers? Yeah, there's tons of them. I mean, there's a ton of them. It just depends on how high end you're talking about. You're talking about high end like $200 or high end like $1,000. Because in that case, you can go with the Trevor Burgers. Trevor Burgers are like the best high end front flippers, but they're like $600 to $600 and up. Then for like $200, you can go with a Migaron Karaki or a Migaron Curix. Both of those are really good. They work really, really good. I'm curious to see what you actually keep around and what is just for review. Well, what you could say is a lot of the things you see in my tops, my favorites, things like that. Like, remember, when I do like a 5 fast, that's not like my favorite knives or anything. I'm literally randomly grabbing knives and just checking them out, talking about them. But when I do tops, favorites, things like that, best knives for this or best knives that, those are my knives. Because those are the knives, because out of everything, I'm gonna pick the ones that I like the most, right? But and also I try to keep one of everything, even things like for the most part, right? For the most part, the things that are good, I get, right? I get pretty much everything. So it's easy to pick the best of the best out of everything when you get to handle everything. So I have things that might be the best knife for blank, but I don't use it. I don't carry it because I carry so many other things. But that doesn't mean I don't have it and don't own it, right? Like this, like the BOCLL. I have 2 of these. So do I need to use both? No. I can give one away now, right? So I have that with a lot of things. Like even my my Kubi KU 322. I've had like 6 of these. So I have some brand new ones, and then I have my own, right? The one that I use. The other ones I save for giveaways and shit like that. So I pretty much have a lot. I have a lot of doubles. But if I only have one, that's usually in my collection then, if I only have one of them. I have never spent more than $625 on a knife. just a shiro. Just a shiro. What are the best titanium / Damascus knives for $300? Probably you can go Concept. We Knife Co. We Knife Co. is probably going to be the best. We Knife Co. Yeah, I'd go We Knife Co. But the thing is, though, is that they're for their damn. Oh no, I guess not. They're going to be like $600 because they use Damas steel. So take that back. But they would probably be the best. But other than that, you got Concept. Concept uses the same Damascus, I think, as like CIVIVI, or at least they're close to it. Which is a 9CR 440 Damascus. That stuff's pretty good. But CIVIVI does really good Damascus. But yeah, I would say probably Concept. Concept does a pretty damn good job for the price, and you can get a titanium. You can get a titanium frame lock with Damascus and Damascus for like $300 from them. What do you recommend for maintenance? Sharpness of edge. What do you recommend for maintenance? I recommend getting the Work Sharp Field Sharpener. It's linked in my store. If you go down in the description, I have Neevesknives store. Click on that, and it's in there. It's called the Work Sharp Field Sharpener. One of the guys can link it and throw it in the chat for me. I'd really appreciate it. That is what I recommend the most for edge maintenance. It has a strop, it has a diamond plates on there, and it has a ceramic. But if you're talking about just one thing, the ceramic rod. The ceramic rod is number one. Well, alongside a strap. It's always going to be a strap with compound. So a leather strap or some sort of strap with some sort of compound and a ceramic rod. Now you can get all that in one if you get the Work Sharp Field Sharpener. Night, I didn't respect the 3 things: how sharp the Echo is out of the box, how good 6-micron gunny juice is, and how much better I've gotten at strapping in the last month or so. And you cut yourself. You're crazy. I would never spend over $5,500 for a folding knife. I think it's hilarious. Somebody, I made this video the other day. I'm sure you guys seen it. It was just a short, and it was like a $300 knife compared to like a $50 knife or something like that. And people are like, who would ever spend $300 on a knife? And it's like you have a bunch of people like raising hands. Me. I would. That little React on your video looks fire. I love your camera work. I get to eyeball stuff I would never see. I'm not sure which one, but yeah, React does a really good job. I have a lot of React videos. Not sure which one you're talking about. But yeah, React does an incredible job. I got a few Reacts. A lot of my Reacts that I have are OEM, so meaning they're not the brand React, but React made them. Ceramic rod and strap with diamond emulsion to maintain edges. Yep, that's a perfect pair to have for edge maintenance. Now, the one thing you could add to that would be, it depends on what you're using it for, but a diamond rod too, like, because you can use a diamond rod for edge repair and then use the ceramic for honing or, deburr. You can use, because a ceramic rod is a multi-tool. It's literally a multi-tool for sharpeners. So a ceramic rod is used for honing, right? That's number 1. It's used for honing. Number 2, it's used for removing your burr when you're sharpening. Number 3, it's for creating a micro bevel. So you can create a micro bevel so that you can continue cutting and maybe fix damaged edges and things like that with a micro bevel. You can also use it to polish an edge. So it can be used as a finishing stone. So like you've went through all your stones, all your diamond stones or whatever you're using. Sorry, my nose itches like crazy right now. You go through all your stones, and the ceramic rod can be used to polish your edge or used as a finishing stone. What's up, Aries? What's the secret to using a ceramic rod and not round off the tip? Why would you be rounding off the tip with the ceramic? What's the secret to using a ceramic rod and not rounding off the tip? No pressure. Don't use pressure. So what you're doing is you're obviously using pressure and then skipping off of it. I don't have my rod here, but I got it out there. But like, let's say this is the rod, right? When you're going down the rod, right? When you're coming down the rod, don't go like that. Literally gentle. You don't even need no pressure. The ceramic rod does the work. You don't have to do the work. So that's the biggest mistake people make with ceramic rods is they think they're supposed to do the work. The ceramic does the work. All you have to do is touch it. So once that steel touches the ceramic, it's working, and know that it's working. So no pressure, very gentle and slow. Brother, your content is awesome. Please keep up the good work and keep them reviews coming. You help me on all my knife purchases. Thanks for your time, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I greatly appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys watching the content and using the links and everything, man. It definitely helps the channel massively and it keeps us going because the channel wouldn't be anything without you guys watching and using the links. It's definitely because of you guys. You guys keep this going, and I do appreciate it. Jared, do you use the weight of the knife on the rod or do you use less pressure? So it depends. So if I'm removing a burr, I use less pressure than the weight of the knife. So maybe at the most the weight of the knife, but I don't apply any more pressure than the weight of the knife. So when let's say this is the ceramic, right? Let's say this is a ceramic rod and I'm going to remove a burr, right? I'm going to I could literally just do it just like this. So Just like that. I don't have to go like this and grind it. You don't have to do that at all. Literally just the weight of the knife, if not even a little less, right? Now, if I'm going to micro bevel, right, I'm going to go forward with it, and now I'm going to add a little pressure because I'm micro beveling. So that's different. But then in that case, I'm micro beveling, and then I'll add a little pressure. So it just depends on what you're doing. But for the most part, when you're honing, you don't need any pressure. You're just, because you're straight, all you're doing is realigning your edge. Like your edge is kind of like this, and you're sending it down the ceramic to push it back to true. So you need no pressure for that. You can use just the pressure of the knife. Can you explain what Veneve stones are? I'm interested in getting some. They are resin with diamonds infused in the resin. So think about it like chocolate chips and cookie dough. Okay, you have your cookie dough and you put your chocolate chips in and you mix them all up. So now the cookie dough, throughout the entire thing of the cookie dough, there's chocolate chips. Well, that's diamonds in the resin. So you have a thin layer of resin across a plate, and that thin layer of resin is mixed with the chocolate chips or the diamonds. So as you wear down the stone, which would be the resin, as it wears down, diamonds are exposed. So as the diamonds break down and go underneath the surface, so like let's say this is the surface of the resin, the diamonds will be poked up. Say when they start wearing down, the diamonds will wear down below the surface. Now all you got to do is get your stone and rub the top of the resin bonded diamond stone. You just rub the top of the resin and it will make the diamonds come back out. So it's basically like having a diamond plate that keeps getting new diamonds, because every time you flatten it or every time you scrub the top of it, you expose the diamonds that are inside of it. I always roll my edges with rod. That's probably because you're adding pressure. No pressure. That's the biggest thing, is just knowing how to use something. No pressure. If you're rolling, then you're adding pressure. Also, you might not even, because like knowing when to use something too. In many cases, you don't need to use the rod. You should be using a strop. So you want a strop. When the strop doesn't work, then you can use a rod. Now, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, will depend on what type of pressure and what you're going to do, the angle and pressure. Now, if the rod doesn't work, then you have to go to sharpening. There is a level of which a rod's not going to do as much justice as you'd like, because it needs to be resharpened. Jones with the 5 bones. I wear brightly colored band-aids to remind myself I already cut that one. Move to the next one. Good to keep a nice rotation going for the balance. Exactly. Yes, sir. Definitely. I try to make sure I separate my cuts too. If I cut this hand this week, or today, this one's gonna have to get cut probably tomorrow. Favorite crossbar knife, TRM Shadow. Oh no. Okay, so the TRM Shadow is probably going to be one of my number 1 USA made knives. Next would be Hogue Deca, and then I love the Drop Bear and the Drop Bear and the Escort. Those are probably my all-time favorites right now. I mean, don't get me wrong, my favorites are going to be the USA made ones, but as far as affordable crossbar locks goes, they're unbeatable. They're unmatched. So the Drop Bear and the Escort. But as far as USA goes, the TRM Shadow, the Hogue Deca with original goat scales. I love the ball lock even more than a crossbar lock. But the only thing you can get it on is the Manic. So thank you, Todd. I appreciate it, brother. Which is your most used knife, and which one is your grail? As far as grail goes, probably a Peter Recenti, a custom Peter Recenti, something like that. I'd also there's a lot of knives I'd love to get that I can think of as a grail. Koenig Arius, Grimsmo Rask, like I said, the Peter Recenti. There's some Shirogorofs I'd love to have. I have some Shirogorofs, so I do have some. But those would probably be more so my grails. My most used knife is Probably my Spyderco Manixes. I've used them a lot. Like, they're not my most beat up knives. Like, obviously, I have knives I've had for years that are just fucking beat to shit. But as far as like what I use the most now, I rotate things. So really, I don't have any one knife that I just use the most because I use so much. Like lately, it's been the Cubit, right? But I haven't had the Cubit that long. But the past few weeks, it's been the Cubit as long as I've had it because I carry it a lot. The Manix I carry a lot, so the Manix I'm using a lot. I've used the heck out of these Elementum button locks, both of them that I have. I've had a few of them. But I have a rotation, so it's not like I could literally use a knife, use a different knife every day, and I don't put that much damage on a knife, right? If you have at least 10 knives, if you have 10 knives, you're going to be able to keep your knives in good condition. You know, unless if you're really just beating the shit out of them. But in that case, have one knife you beat the shit out of and all the rest you use not to beat the shit out of. But you can keep a knife going for a long time. How much pressure you use on the strap, and thanks for your patience. So little pressure. So you want to add a little bit, but not much. So the way I look at it is if you're pushing the leather, let me just grab a strap. Grabbed a couple. So if you're pushing the leather and it's denting, if it's denting the leather like mine is right now, you're putting too much pressure. So not enough pressure to dent it, enough pressure to be able to hold your angle. So find your angle and then just rub it. Because remember, the abrasive is what's doing the work, not your pressure. Your pressure isn't doing anything. So even if you use very, very little pressure, it doesn't matter because it's the abrasive. Do I have some right here? Thought I had some here, but I guess not. So whatever abrasive you put on the surface, whatever abrasive you put on the surface, that's what's doing the work. So very light pressure, just find your angle. And if you need to add a little bit of pressure in order not to lose your angle, that's fine. But don't put any pressure to where it's pushing into the leather. You don't, because otherwise the leather will wrap around your edge and it'll work backwards. So instead of it getting sharper, it'll get duller. So you want very light pressure and try not to raise your angle. So when you're going across, never do this. If anything, go lower than higher, because the lower the angle, all you're going to do is polish the back of your bevel. If you raise your angle, you're going to roll your edge. So very, very little pressure. Just let the abrasive, but also make sure you have a good abrasive on there. Make sure you're constantly putting a new abrasive on there. Don't, you don't want just leather, because leather works. Leather is what's holding the abrasive. It's basically a spot for the abrasive to be, kind of like sandpaper, right? The paper isn't what's working. It's the sand on top of the paper. Or the aluminum oxide powder, whatever you want to call it. Keen, thank you for the 10 bones. Keen Custom Tools. Thank you, man. I appreciate the 10 bones, man. You're awesome. Dave Goodridge with the 5 bones. Is the 154 CM steel okay on the Concept Knives main tree? Yeah, Concept does a good job with 154 CM. 154 CM it's an easy steel for companies to heat treat in the first place. So, and then also it's damn near 154 CM. Like when you place it in your head where it's at, it's going to be right under S35 VN. So like here's 154 CM, here's S35 or S35 and then S30V. So it's very close. Like it's not going to outcut S35, but it damn near will cut as far as S35. So it's a great steel. And yeah, they do a good job with it. Jason with the 2 bones. Is the Sharp by Designs Apex clip bad versus Boker Urban Trapper? They're both bad. They're both bad clips. The Urban Trapper is not bad in the hand, it's bad in the pocket. The Sharp by Designs Apex is bad in the hand, not so bad in the pocket. Like, it's a little tight in the pocket, but it's not like tearing your pants. Like, so as far as going in the pocket, the Apex is better. As far as in the hand, the Apex is the worst because it's on the spine. So that's how I'd put it. How often do you apply abrasive to a strap? So if it's aluminum oxide, so if it's like the crayon stuff, then you want to do it like once every 5 strops, because what happens is aluminum oxide, it breaks down. So think about it kind of like chips of glass, right? It's like chips of glass. And every time you use it, you're crushing that glass up. Eventually it's going to get to powder, right? And it's not even going to be working. And that's what eventually happens to the abrasive. The abrasive just breaks down to the point to where it's not even working anymore. Then you have to reapply it. So you reapply it like once every 5, maybe 6 strops. And once it's coated too much, the more you have on there, the more often you're gonna have to put it on. So just put a very thin layer every time, because you're gonna have to keep reapplying it. Now, if it's diamonds, that lasts a lot longer. You can get like 10, 15, 20 strops out of it before you have to reapply it, because the diamonds don't break down as fast as aluminum oxide. The diamonds sit on the surface and they don't break down. They do break down, but not as fast, nowhere near as fast. So you can, if it's diamond, it'll last like 3 to 5 times longer than aluminum oxide as far as breaking down goes. So if it's aluminum oxide, do it like once every 5 to 7 stroppings. You know, it depends on how big your strop is, how big the knife is. There's a lot of factors, right? So I'm not giving you a general number, but, you know, just think about it. You know, like when you start seeing it start turning dark, and when it's not really working, then you know you have to reapply it. If you're wanting a number, I'd say between 5 and 10 strops, you're going to want to reapply it. With diamonds, you can get away with like 20 strops before you reapply it. But also, like I said, there's a lot of factors. Antimatter with the 5 bones. We spoke in a comment about a year and a half ago, making the Kubi KU322 in a premium form. And there it is. Mine will be here in a few days. I know. I actually said that in my video. I said, I messaged them. I told them that when this first came out, I literally messaged them. I should look for it just to prove it, because you guys don't believe me. And I messaged them and said, hey, you guys would be so smart if you guys made a premium version of the 322. I said, do it in 14C. I even said to use 14C. 2 years later, whether they remembered that or not, I don't know. They didn't send it to me. I bought this. So I guess they probably just thought it was their own idea. How does Kaiser's 154 CM compare to CIVIVI's 14C? So 154 CM in most cases will outcut 14C. Now, I'll say this, 14C, I prefer over 154 CM, but that's just a preference. Now, the reason why I prefer over 154 CM is the type of edges it takes. So 14C does incredible with very thin geometry, and that's what I love about it. So when you like low angle edges, 14C does like really, really well. So you can put super low angles on there. You can put nice mirror polishes on it. Like, it takes an incredible fine edge. 154 CM does not. So 154 CM, while it takes an incredibly sharp edge, you don't want to bring it to a mirror polish. You want to sharpen it to like 600 grit, 1200 grit max. So I won't take 154 CM over 1200 grit unless somebody requests it, right? But what happens is it'll get slick. So after you get done sharpening, say if you go cut a piece of rope or cardboard, it'll get slick. So that's why you need it to be a medium grit. So that's the reason why I love 14C a little bit more. And they're close to edge retention, but 154 CM will outcut 14C. So, but 14C is a lot tougher. So depends on the application. That's what I mean. Like with thin geometry, 14C does really good because it's made for super thin geometry. Now, as far as 154 CM goes, it's really good too. It's a fantastic steel. It's a good to go steel. And I personally prefer 14C over 154 CM because of the type of edges it takes. Chase Robinson, thank you for becoming a member, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to the new members. We do have a Bang Gang live sharpening tomorrow at 12:15. We will be doing a live sharpening, members only. So only the members will be allowed to watch. So hopefully we see as many people as possible there. And then Evan came in hot with the 5 bones. Thank you, man. How do you like the SENCUT Serene? Just picked one up today. It's my favorite budget knife as far as under $50 goes. I think that the SENCUT Serene is the best under $50 knife you can get right now. I do think there's better knives over that, like $65, but for under $50, you can't beat it. It's got aluminum handles. Think about this. The Benchmade 940 10 years ago or 5 years ago, right? 5 years ago, not even 10, 5 years ago was $170 with aluminum handles and S30V. The SENCUT Serene has aluminum handles and D2. And D2 steel, SENCUT and CIVIVI do a good job with their D2. Now, most companies I would not say that about, but there are very few companies that do a decent job with the D2, and SENCUT is one of them. They at least do a decent job. So, that steel will, cut damn near as much as like an S35, S30V. Not saying it will outcut it, but it's going to hang strong with it. Now, well done D2 will outcut S30V. Well done D2. But you'll almost never see that unless if it's from small batch custom heat treat, because that's what it was made for. D2 was made to be heat treated in small batches. That's why there's an issue with it. And that's why it's so affordable. That's why, all these budget companies are using it, is because they can mass produce it, but it's not controlled, right? It's not controlled. Some are harder, some are softer. That's why there's so many problems with D2. Now, I'm not saying all companies have problems with D2, but I'm saying between the 1,000 Chinese companies that are using D2, they're all over the board. Some of them are cutting as much as 8CR, some of them are cutting as much as 154CM, some of them are cutting as much as S30V. It's all over the board, right? It's not like it's like just set in stone, this is the edge retention. D2 is all over the fucking board. It can go all the way as low as like 7CR edge retention, because it's not that it's poorly heat treated. It's just not meant to be heat treated in a mass production level. Certain steels are, though, like 14C. Another great quality about 14C, it's made to be mass produced. It's literally a steel designed to be heat treated in a mass produced type of way. Steven with the 10 bones dual grit edges. What do you think? Home slice, yeah. I've seen the home slice. I've seen him talk about them a lot. I've done a couple, so I did notice that there was a couple steels that it did not work that good on. The edge did not last longer. But I've also had some where it did. So I think it just depends on the steel. And with certain steels, I think I haven't tested all the steels like he has, but I've tested a few, and I've had good results and poor results. But I also know that the poor results were probably on a steel that does not do well with a dual grit edge. So, and the one that didn't do well for me was 154CM. Joshua, shout out to you for becoming a member. Thank you, man. I appreciate all the new members. You guys are awesome, man. Can't wait for tomorrow. We're going to be set up over at the sharpening booth or sharpening bench, and we'll be getting her done. Me over in Holland. No way to support you. This such big time must be my bank. Well, that's all right, Rob. I appreciate you trying anyways, man. You can always, just FYI for you guys that don't know, when you watch the videos, there's a place there for you to donate. If you want to donate during a video, you can, throw $2 or something or $5 into a video, and it'll, I'll see it later. So I do appreciate it when you guys do that, but that is a way to support. Otherwise, just hit the like button. That's like the number one thing you can do for me, is hit the like button. Can you teach some serration sharpening tomorrow? I'll try, but I don't think so, because I can't find my rat tail. I don't know what happened to it, which would be my number one way to do serrations. I can't find it. So I got to get a new one, and then I can do that, but I have to get a new one first. Oh, by the way, there is a partial serrated SOCOM Elite for sale right now on Blade HQ. I did a post earlier. the Microtech, the USA one. The USA SOCOM Elite, and it's not fully serrated, it's partial. So it's only right here that's serrated, and then the rest of the edge is regular edge. And those things, man, it might be already gone. So they go quick, like real quick. These things are hard to get. The USA Microtech SOCOM Elite. This is a real tactical knife right here. Look at that spine. That fucker's thick. This thing is and it's only 15 thousandths behind the edge with that thick of a spine. That's crazy, right? This is a real hard use liner lock. There's not very many liner locks, I would say, are hard use. This is an absolute monster. And I've seen those things beat to shit. How would you rate Kubi's D2 on a scale of 1 to 10? Well, see, 10 would be custom. Right? That'd be, so it can't even be in the same ballpark as that. So it would have to be below 5, right? Because between 5 and 10, that would be like custom. I would say CIVIVI's is like a 5, right? So Kubi's is probably like a 4 or 3, 4, 3. But that's not saying something bad though, because D2, like I said, is all over the board. Kubi doesn't do a bad job with their D2. I'm not saying they do. I don't mind Kubi's D2. I buy their D2. Their D2 is just fine. It's going to hold a good edge. It'll probably hold an edge about as much as OS 10 CR. So that's the edge retention you'll probably get out of it. So that's not bad. But it's not to the highest potential of what D2 is supposed to be, but it's also never going to be because it's done in large batches, right? Like I said, D2 is finicky, right? And in order to get it, it's very easy to heat treat. Very easy to heat treat small batch. So like when like Medford's heat treating D2, he does an incredible job with it because he does like 3 or 4 blades. That's it at one time. And so not only is it super easy for him to do it, it comes out really good. Now, when you're talking about 1,000 blades in one, right? There's no way to make sure all those blades are the exact same temperature. So it makes it to where some are burnt, some are soft, some are hard, some are this, some are that, and it's just impossible for them. How do you like the Tucson Sabertooth, Jared? I think it's nasty. Can't wait for the Kaiser Sheepdog Clutch Lock. Which one is that? The Tucson Sabertooth? I gotta look it up really quick. I probably know it, but um oh yeah, I think I did try this. I don't know. I think I thought it was I don't remember that much, but from what I do remember, I think the geometry is just a little bit thick on it, if I remember correctly. But other than that, I mean the build quality was good, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a while since I've had that one. Jared, can you teach someone serration? Oh, did I already read that one? Um, I have a question. If you can only have 5 knives for the rest of your life, which ones will it be? That's too tough, man. That's too tough. That's a video. I'd have to sit there and think about it for 48 hours. I'd say one knife would be, definitely have my Mannix in there. That's my most recommended knife is the Spyderco Mannix, whether it's the regular one or the XL. But I definitely have that in there. So you can put that in there. If I only had 5 knives, they'd all probably be USA made, to be honest. But there's so many overseas knives, I wouldn't have only 5 knives because I would definitely want to have like even like my Quiet Carry 9, right? But if I only had 5 knives, would I have this knife? I don't know. You know, I'd want to. So, you know, maybe this would be one of the 5. I don't know. But like my my F22 kick stop, I'd have to have that. You know, there's a lot of knives I'd have to have. My SOCOM Elite. So I'm already up to 20 knives in my head right now. So picking 5 is nearly impossible. But see, what I always tell people is don't ask me. Ask me for a top 20 or a top 50. Because a top 5 is difficult. Because now you're talking about taking your 10 favorite knives and comparing them and picking one. And the problem is like one, like say, if I'm going to go do tactical shit, I'm going to pick this, right? But if I'm going to be doing apple slicing, I'm going to use this. So there's just differences, right? So when you pick 5 knives, that means you have to set up each knife for a specific purpose. This is my outdoors knife. This is my light duty knife. This is my gent knife. This is my all around EDC knife. This is my work knife. This is my utility blade. You'd have to pick that, you know, those for specific tasks. Yeah, the F-22 is badass. I love the F-22. The with the Lee Williams kickstop, I think it's so dope. I love that. The Jared Owens or Jared Ozier, sorry, Jared Ozier F-22. Jared, can we get a top 120? See, that's what I'm talking about. See, Ryan knows how to ask the question. Yes, we can definitely get one of those. Hey, Zechariah, he's been a member for 15 months. Shout out to him. I didn't even realize we've had a membership for 15 months. Fuck yeah. Good evening, everyone. Hey, Jared. Thank you. Thank you. I will see you tomorrow, Joshua. And thank you, Joshua, for becoming a member. He's now a Benchmade, so shout out to him. I'm not sure if I already said that or not, but I will see you guys tomorrow in tomorrow's live Bang Gang Live. I'm going to read a couple more comments, and then we're getting to scent of the day because we got a banger today. A banger. Is interesting for me. Which ones will you choose? Because I can have a certain opinion of what is quality for you. Also, for recommend for a friend. I'm not sure what you mean. It's interesting for me. Which ones will you choose? Because are you talking about for the top 5? Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. Like I said, I'd probably pick if I could only have 5 knives, they'd probably all have to be USA made. You know, Benchmade, Griptilian, Spyderco. I'd have a lot of Spydercos. I'll tell you that. I'd probably just pick all Spydercos. Maybe, you know, a Hogue Deca, Spydercos, and, you know, because Spydercos have the best steels. But now, if we're talking about like any price and stuff, you know, I'd want to have my Medford Slim Mini. You know, I'd want to have so many knives. It's just tough. Ask my dad whose favorite child. Right. Easy answer for him, my sister. That's hilarious. I'm still floating, dude. Hey, Jared, can I announce some news real quick? Yeah, go ahead, Zachariah. Go ahead. What did you think of Nick Shabazz's newest video? I didn't see it. I'll watch it tonight. I've been working for the past 2-3 days nonstop, gunning it, pedal to the metal. So I'll watch something tonight. Scent that could help. Wait, scent that could help even me. All right. Yes. So let's get to it. So Zachariah is gonna say something in the chat for you guys. Hey, John Evans has also been a member for freaking 16 months. Shout out to John Evans. Thank you, brother. Congratulations on your continued sleaziness. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And thank you for becoming a member for so long, man. I do appreciate it, man. Man, there's not a lot of people in here tonight. Must be MC's doing a giveaway live. Anyways, let's talk about this damn fragrance. So I did talk about this fragrance last time. I admit I did, but I got the big bottle because it was so damn good. I got it. So I wound up buying that damn son of a bitch. And here it is. So you guys can see the note breakdown. I have another fragrance I'm going to show you guys, though. 2 other fragrances. So here's the note breakdown. It is banging. It is such a good fragrance. So yes, very strong citrus right off the top. It has a lemony freshness to it. It's super powerful, super potent, but it has this underlying sweetness underneath the citrus. And you know, you see it has almond and nutty and fruity, right? The aromatic and fresh spicy, I don't know about that. Maybe a little bit. It's just mixed very well because all of this you're smelling, you're like, there's something in there that you're trying to figure out what it is. And it's definitely the almond, the nutty, and the fruity all mixed together. But it literally has just like an underlying sweet lemony scent that's super good, that's well balanced, perfect for summer. It's a perfect summer fragrance. I sprayed it earlier. Kara opened up the door and walked by, and she was like, oh wow, she's like, I really like that one. I was like, I know. But yeah, it is damn good. You guys can see the name there. You guys can look it up yourself because I cannot link this one and it would be too expensive if I did. And I don't want to rip you guys off. So you guys have to look it up if you guys want to get it yourself. I can't recommend it enough. At least get a tester of it because it's definitely one that could be a signature scent. A signature scent is just a scent that you could wear every day and stand out above everybody else. Because like with signature scents, like you don't want your signature scent to be what everybody else is wearing. right? You want yours to be separate. So you want it to be really, really good and different from everybody else's. That's definitely this. You're not going to run into anybody else wearing this. That's one thing. And two, it has a good sweet smell, and that's also not like sugary sweet, not like that. Like it's just like a hint. So it's well balanced, and it makes it to where when you walk in a room, one, you're gonna fucking smell good, and everybody will like it. It's definitely a crowd pleaser. It's not one where you're gonna have to grow to it or anything like that. It's just a crowd pleasing fragrance. Everybody will love it. So you'll smell good, but then you'll also smell different than everybody else in a good way. Now, I do have another fragrance by them, and I'll pull it up right here. Um, I like it. It's good, but I you can see the breakdown. It's sweet, cherry, vanilla, almond, nutty, warm, spicy, amber, fruity, leather, and smoky. I wish the warm spicy wasn't in there. If the warm spicy wasn't in there, I'd like it a lot more. You can definitely smell the sweet cherry. It's sweet, it's cherry, but it almost has a Cracker Barrel smell. You know, when you walk into Cracker Barrel, you can smell like almost like a cinnamonness, like a woody cinnamony smell. I don't know how to explain it. Everybody knows what Cracker Barrel smells like. It kind of has that kind of scent. Um, and the thing is that so many men love this, right? And I've had this one for a while, even though I haven't used that much of it, but I have had it for a while. Well, I picked it up today and I went to smell it and I was like, holy shit, this smells way better than I remember. I think the cherry notes started coming out more. So I definitely like it more now than I did before, but I wouldn't recommend it, even though so many guys recommend this. Like I literally got this recommended by like 20 guys on different channels. But this one though, this guy, I definitely recommend this one. This one, don't blind buy this. Definitely get a sample of it. Now, one more fragrance, and then we're done with the fragrances. This one I got gifted to me while at Blade Show by Dan Cad. Shout out to Dan Cad. I do appreciate it, brother. It is Supremacy Noir. Let me pull it up right here. So this is a very masculine scent. Very, very, very masculine. You can see it's got the woody, aromatic, green, leather, citrus, amber, conifer, and patchouli. So, and it has all of that. It definitely has the green scent in there. You can smell the leather. It's a green leather woody scent. That's exactly what it is. That explains it perfectly. Now, it's a mature scent. So I would not recommend this for anybody under the age of 35. That being said, I'm not saying it smells like an old man. I'm not saying that. Like I've been wearing it the past 2 days. So it's a definitely a good masculine scent. It almost has a cognac scent to it in the background. I personally like cognac scent in my fragrances. It doesn't make you smell like you just drank a bottle of cognac, fuckers. It's a fragrance note. Anyways, this stuff though, super duper masculine. Women like Carol really likes this. That's the thing with super masculine fragrances. Like sometimes they can, and I'm not saying this does, but sometimes they can smell a little old manish. And I'm not talking shit to the old guys out there, because they even know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows that scent, an old man scent, like an old spice scent or something like that. But women tend to be a little bit more attracted to it. That super masculine scent. Now this doesn't have that. This definitely has a more mature kick, but it has a super masculine scent that is drawing. It makes you want to keep smelling it, but it's super woody. Like I said, leathery. You definitely get that. I don't get a ton of citrus, but I'm sure it's in there because it's probably just well rounded. But really, really good. I definitely recommend it for, like I said, guys over the age of 35. You have to be over the age of 35 for this one. Otherwise, I just don't think you can appreciate it. But other than that, though, like if you're over the age of 35, I think it's something to maybe try. Try a sample or something, because it is it's powerful and pretty long lasting, actually. And shout out to Dan Cad for hooking that up. I do appreciate it. Sense, age, and mellow, and yeah, well, that's what I think happened. So Yeah, I actually, some of the fragrances I have, like some of the ones I didn't even like at first, over like a 3-month period, they changed. This one definitely changed for me. So at first, I couldn't really smell the cherry as much as people were making it seem. Now I can really smell it, like right off the top, big time. But for some reason, I didn't pick the notes up that much. But that's what happens with fragrances. Some of them get sweeter, like over time. Some of them, they change, they evolve, and I like that. I love that. Usually, it's for the better. I've yet to have found a fragrance that changed for the bad. It always changes for the better. We do have a story coming up here in a minute. Just bought a shirt that says it's weird being the same age as old people. That's a good one. Oh man. Uh Scroll up. You missed Zach's big news. Oh, okay, okay. Let me find it. Oh, Mr. Particular with the 2 bones. Sorry I missed that, man. Sorry I missed that. Love the show. Keep up the great work. Thank you for the 2 bones. Where is that cry? Okay, I sent a knife design to Concept, and they decided to prototype 2 of them, one in October and one in November. Good for you, man. Good for you. I'm gonna send you the blue rat tail from your Amazon store, and unless or until I'm told different. The blue rat tail? I don't know what that is. From my Amazon store? I don't, maybe Kara actually put something there. What do you mean a rat tail? What is it? I have no idea what you're talking about. Stick to knives. You're going what? Boring and good night. Stick to knives. You are going real camp. I don't know what that even means, Rob. But hey, man, if you don't like to smell good, that's just fine. I personally do, and I like to help other men smell good as well. Like Anthony said, all clean, no issues. Um, does equal strokes on each side matter, or is it consistent burr? No, there you don't have to do equal strokes. No, equal strokes is a myth. What you want to do is you just want to make sure, like if you're talking about sharpening, you just because sometimes one side will sharpen up faster than the other side. So you can't go based off of strokes. But what I'll say is that you want to just pay attention to the size, look at it, observe it, make sure it looks, the same. As far as stropping goes, I try to do pretty much equal, if I strop one side, I hit the other side, right? If I strop two on one side, then I do 2 on the other side. So I pretty much do it equal if it's stropping. But it's not about that. What it's about is about the results, right? So you're focused on trying to be able to see the results. So when you're stropping, hit it a couple times on each side and feel it. Does it feel better? Does it feel sharper? Are you getting the results you want? Once you get your results, stop, because going farther will ruin your edge, or not ruin it. It'll mess it up. It'll make it worse because there is a line. There's a line in the sand. And when you pass it, it's getting worse. So overstropping is a real thing, right? Just like when you get done sharpening, unless if you're trying to polish your edge on a strop, then you only need to strop a couple times per side because you've already sharpened your edge. Your edge is already to the keen apex. So you might hit it on a strop a couple times to make sure the micro metal is removed from your apex. But once that's done, you don't need to keep stropping, because otherwise what you're going to do is you're going to go backwards. You're going to make your edge finer and finer and finer and make it less sharp. How was the balls? I like it. I like it a lot. I've actually been using it. I like it quite a bit. Now, I'll say this. I think it's only good on V grinds. I don't think it's going to be the best on convexed. In that case, just use leather. But no, I'm liking it a lot. I got that balsa wood, and I've been putting gunny juice on there, and it's working great. Great, great, great. I'm very impressed, even more than I thought I would. Oh, rat tail diamond sharpener. Oh, okay. Oh, what the fuck is he talking about? Even though I just talked about it just a little bit ago. Okay, the rat tail diamond sharpener. Okay, yeah. I mean, I got one. That's the problem. I have one. I have a couple of them. I used to have a little pack of them. I just got to find them. Neevesknives, did you get the new Leatherman? Nope. With the Magnica blade. No, I didn't even know they did that. I didn't even know they did that, Colin. I need to check that out. I have not seen that. Get a loop and actually look at the burr. That helped me a ton. Yeah, you can definitely do that. I don't think a burr can be the easiest to see through a loop, but if you know what you're looking for, see what I say was with a burr, they're easy to feel. So feel it because you can, because I can close my eyes right now and grab any knife and tell you if it has a burr in 3 seconds. Like literally, I can just touch it. Nope, no burr on this. You know, I can grab any knife and just check it really quick. You know, so feeling I think is number one when it comes to burrs. As far as scratch pattern and everything goes, that's when a jeweler's loop can really help you. Thank you. I have issues where on the reverse stroke, my edge is deeper up on the blade than the other side. I wasn't sure if that is due to not doing equal strokes. Well, so this is the thing is that with grinds, right? One side might be thinner than the other side, meaning when they ground. So like if I grab a knife right now, right? This side might be ground more than this side. So when you sharpen this side, the edge bevel might be smaller. And then on the other side, it might be a little bit bigger because they didn't grind it as much. That is a thing. So you want to take that into consideration. That's why you want to just look at it, right? While you're sharpening, look at it. Before you're done, flip it over. Before you're done reprofiling. So your first stone is the most important. Make sure it's as matched up and even as possible from the first stone. If you got it down pat from the first stone, then when you move to your second stone, you'll kind of know like this side takes more strokes than this side, or this side I need to work on a little bit more than this side. You know what I mean? So that's how I would do it. I would base everything off of the first stone and make sure that you get it as even as possible. If you notice one side is a little smaller than the other side, work on the smaller side until it evens up. Because the side that's smaller, what you'll do is if you work on the side that's smaller, and we'll say one side's bigger, one side's smaller, as you work on this side, you'll remove steel from this side and it'll eventually even up. Hopefully that makes sense. The one that helps you complete a task more efficiently and safely. This is a very hard question that I don't know if you will be able to answer, but what is the best knife money can buy? Depends on how much money you got. So I can answer if you give me the amount of money. Just depends on the amount of money you have, or how much money you want to spend, I should say. Most likely it would, you know, like I want to tell you USA made knife, but to be honest, for the money, you're going to get better from overseas just because as long it depends on what you really appreciate too. Is if you appreciate heat treat, then you know, I'll tell you to go to a custom maker. And in that case, it's going to be a USA custom maker. But if you're wanting the best quality materials, fit, finish, action, stuff like that, then you know, my answer would be different. Thank you. That was a perfect answer too. I appreciate that. But yeah, there's just a lot of questions. Lots of questions. That's the thing that sucks when anybody asks about knife. Like it's like, what's the best fixed blade? For what? Best fixed blade for chopping, best fixed blade for being a machete, best fixed blade for chef work, best fixed blade for cutting tree limbs. What? Like what is it for? Best for cutting apples, best for self-defense, best for stabbing, best for skinning deer. Like there's so many things, right? It's like because the one that's the best for this isn't going to be the best for this. If money wasn't an option, who do you think makes the best knife all around? That's just tough, you know. I don't know. Koenigarius, probably. The Koenigarius is probably going to be like the number one pick for most people. About $1,000. Now, is that everybody's favorite? No, but a massive amount of people do love it and appreciate it. Yeah, that's a real, and that's USA made too. Really good. How do you feel about SE knives? I don't see any reviews. I've had them on the channel. I'm not sure if I have any just full reviews, but I've had them on the channel. I've had SEs on a bunch, but I like SE. I think SE has one of the best warranties you can get on a knife. They'll even warranty it even if you break it and it's your fault intentionally. So I think that has, that obviously has to say something. So I appreciate their warranty. I think they do a really, really good job with Outdoors Knives. Best for gas station knife find. See, now you're asking good questions. So I don't know about the best, but I'll tell you what, this new Insider from CIVIVI is pretty dope. So it's a karambit. I like the forward facing karambit. So the way I'm carrying it, if you look, my clip is faced this way. I don't want to pull it out this way, but it's designed to be like this, and then you flip it around. I don't like it like that because I don't want to fight backwards. So I want to fight forward. So when I do it, I'm going to pull it out like this, pull it out. It's going to spring. It's going to spring open, and then I'm going to grip it like that. I'm just going to drop it right into my pinky. And I've done it. It works pretty quick, and then I can start clawing, like crazy. But yeah, this is pretty dope. I don't know if it's the best gas station knife fighting tool, but it's definitely pretty good. But the best is probably going to be this guy right over here. That guy right there. You could stab through a car door with this thing. Break out a windshield. What's the best knife to fidget with while watching a live stream? I'll tell you what, that damn CGRB Echo is a damn good one. It's affordable and it's fidgety as all hell. Like it is super duper fidgety. So I'd say probably that one. Now depending on the type of action you like, because you could say the Kaiser Cormorant. The Kaiser Cormorant's another great one to fidget with while watching Neevesknives. Damn. $15K for a custom Shuro? That's nuts. I wonder who makes them custom. I know it's Shuro, but like, I wonder if it's a team or if it's one guy who makes it. That's crazy. That's expensive. So let's get to story time. Let's tell a story. So this is a quick story. It's about my dad. So it was when I was a kid. So I told you guys, I grew up in a pretty poor area, a lot of violence, a lot of crime and shit. And I had uncles that raced, right? And we had just got done with a race. And we were on our way home, right? We were just getting back into town. And we had a couple people with us. We already dropped some people off, and now it's me, one of my buddies. I'm a kid, by the way. I'm a little kid. My dad, and this one guy who's drunk as shit, drunk as fuck. No good drunk. And love the guy to death, but I'm saying at the time, like he was no good to us because he was so drunk. Anyways, and then his wife. And we pull up to this gas station, and this gas station's known for like bad shit. Like I'm not gonna say the name of it or anything, but it's known. It's known for just being, not a good place. You don't want to go there after a certain time, shit like that. We pull in because my dad don't give a shit. And when my dad pulls in, like he's got this big truck, it's a dually. And when he pulls in, there's these dudes in their car, and he doesn't even get close enough to hit it, but like he goes past it and he's kind of close, right? Well, they start freaking out, start like snapping at my dad, right? And my dad, he gets out and he starts arguing with them, right? And he starts arguing with them, and I'm looking at these dudes and like, I know how my dad is, so like I'm thinking at him like, dude, these guys are about to get hurt like really bad, like, and I that's the way I was thinking. But my dad knew something I didn't because I was just too young to even know. And so he's trying to talk to him. They're kind of arguing. My dad's talking shit. They're talking shit. Well, dude winds up pulling out a gun. All right. And the one lady that was with us, and the one dude that's drunk with us, he's screaming things I'm not going to say, not going to repeat, but the worst things you could scream in a situation like this. So it makes it even worse. But he's so drunk, like it's like he's not going to be able to do anything. If he gets out, he's getting beat up, like even if it was a 10-year-old out there, right? So, so dude pulls out the gun and my dad's sitting there arguing with him, but my dad's in between us, right? And at the time, like I didn't understand everything because I was young. But the lady goes in, calls the cops wind up coming, the cops wind up pulling in, right? And my dad's squared up with like 4 dudes right now, right? Like getting ready to start throwing down or get shot. Um, but the cops didn't do anything. Like they didn't do anything. And my dad's like kind of pissed at them. Like he's like, because he knows they have fucking guns and they're not even searching them, they're not doing anything. And so my dad was kind of pissed. Like, you guys have an opportunity right now to get some fucking thugs off the street that are obviously pulling guns like on people with kids in the car, and you're not going to do anything about it. So, and and I remember thinking about my dad, like, Dad, why didn't you just kick his ass, right? But like I said, I was young, too young to really understand what was going on. Well, I know how my dad is, and I didn't know exactly what happened that night, but what he did was he wound up dropping me off and then left, and he should have came home. Like the typical, we would have just went home together, right? But he pulls up and tells me I'll be home later, right? So I had an idea that he was, going out on a mission. But I didn't ask him for, I think it was like probably a couple weeks or something like that. But I remember asking him like, what'd you do that night? And and he was like, you know better than to ask me questions like that. And I did know better than that, right? So, I never asked again. I can only imagine what he went and did. But I remember asking him too, like, why didn't you like just kick that dude's ass? And he was like, you'll understand when you get older. And I didn't understand at the time, but I understand now. My dad wasn't trying to provoke a situation because there was guns drawn and I was in the car and so was my buddy who was the same age as me. So the backstop to where those bullets would have been into us as kids. So my dad tried to separate himself from the truck so the guns would be pointed at him. And that was the whole point. He didn't want a bunch of, because you guys know how it goes, like people that are firing off guns that have no business even having them in the first place aren't hitting nothing but the innocent, right? So he was trying to save us from getting shot and was trying not to provoke a situation even worse than what it wound up getting to. And I asked him, I said, why? I said, why, because I was basically thinking like as a kid, because I'm a kid, right? Like, why didn't you just kick their ass? Why'd you let the cops come, right? And he told me, he's like, always try to do the right thing. And that's what he told me. He's like, always try to do the right thing first. He's like, if the right thing, if it doesn't work, he's like, then handle business. He's like, but always try to do the right thing. And so that night he tried to do the right thing, but the cops didn't do anything. So then I guess he went and took care of business on himself by himself. Not that I know what happened after that. Because he wouldn't have told me even, regardless. But I remember though, thinking about that like so much, like why the hell didn't he, like just start, because he's like, to me, like looking at him and knowing my dad, like I know he would just piece them up fast, like he'd have fucked them all up like quick. And I knew that, even as a kid, I knew that. But also, you might think your dad's, tougher than he might be, but not that he wasn't, because he was very tough. But I'm just saying, like, kids tend to put their parents a little bit, higher up, superhero powers, maybe more than they are. But I definitely wasn't doing that, because I remember even thinking like that he's going to have his hands full, because there was a few of them. But the whole thing started over nothing, like literally nothing. Like the people were about to get shot for nothing. Like nothing got hit. Like when he pulled in, nothing got touched. They were pissed because he got close. Can you imagine? But yeah, no, I do know now exactly why and what he did, and it was the right thing to do and the appropriate thing to do and everything. But it just shows like how much you start understanding as you get older. Uh, but yeah, I thought about asking him years later. I never did because I knew better. But I thought about asking him years later, like what happened that night. He probably wouldn't have told me in the first place. But when I did ask him a couple weeks later, he was just like, "Yeah, you know better than to ask me questions like that, boy. Don't ask me questions like that." But meaning, you know. So you don't have to ask because you don't want me to have to lie to you, right? Um, that's a smart move by dad. You can't prevent the bad from happening, but you can control where it happens. Right, definitely, definitely. And what he didn't want to happen though was even if he did lure him off, like I said, they can't hit the broadside of a barn. So you know, and the way we were positioned too, um, it was in a bad position, to where, like I said, we were the backstop, no matter what. I will be buying a lot of. Hit the like. Thank you, Rob. Yes, hit the like button. Sprint car. That was sprint car racing. Um, we just got back from my uncle was a sprint car driver, and my dad was the truck driver. So my dad drove the truck that carried the car and everything. And we had just gotten back. It's kind of good that that one uncle wasn't with us because he would have been getting out ready to fight too, and who knows what would have happened. He was a super hothead. So I remember thinking at the time, like, I wish he was, but after you get older, you realize like, oh, it was probably a better idea that he wasn't. But yeah, it was sprint cars. Have you done a full knife collection video? If you decide to, you could break it in apart. So I've done them in the past. The last one I did, I only got to part 2 and then I stopped because it'd be like 10, 15 parts and it's just difficult. It's super difficult. But I'll maybe try to put something together. It's tough doing with my collection because a lot of stuff is like put up and organized in a way that in order to pull it out and do a video like that, it's very difficult. I know it doesn't make sense to you guys, but it's not like all my knives are just laying out on a table. I got a lot of them in boxes stored up. And then I have a lot out, right? Like it's easy to do the ones that are out, but the ones that are in boxes, that's a job, like to do that, which don't get me wrong. I know this is my job. So, one of these days I'll probably do it. I'm going to wind up doing a big knife sale soon, one of these days. And when I do, I'll have a lot less knives, and then in that case I'll be able to probably do a more effective uh knife collection video. Is Neves talking about Cabrini Green Chicago? It's a war zone. It has been for decades. So no, I'm not talking about Cabrini Green, but Cabrini Green is not, that's all different now. It was like in the 90s, that's when it was the worst. It got tore down, and all of them moved to, a lot of them were relocated to North Chicago, and that's actually where I grew up, was Zion, Waukegan, in North Chicago, and not the north side of Chicago. That's a really good area. That's this, like, near the city. But then there's North Chicago, which is separated from that. Well, they took those people when they knocked those buildings down, they took those people that were all Section 8 and they moved them to North Chicago, at least a lot of them. And it wound up turning North Chicago into a fucking shithole. And even till today, it's just a giant shithole. And it's bad. It's really bad. Kara's playing her game. She's in the middle of gaming. Why are you selling some of your knives? Because I have too many. I need to. I can't. It's not like I can use them all. And it gets to a point where you can't even film them all. And I have doubles, triples of some knives, and I do a lot of giveaways. So it's not that I'm selling my knives. It's just that I'm selling knives that I'm not using, that I'm not gonna use, and I'm not gonna. Most of them, a lot of them are new in the box. So. What pod system do you use, and does it have button activation? Talking about on this? No, it does not. This is just a jewel. I'm probably gonna switch to a button activation one. I'd probably prefer it, but no, it doesn't. My pop would start a fight with a turnip. My dad was pretty good. I mean, not saying that he wouldn't either, but my dad was pretty good with control. Like, don't get me wrong, there was a few times like he went off, off the hinges. a few times, a few too many times, but for the most part, he was pretty, he could control himself because he was very smart with his shit. Like, he was super smart. My dad was an absolute gangster. He knew how to handle situations and, what to do, when to do, and how to do it. Jared, gotta sell us on the knives because you can only fit so many knives inside of a roof. Right. Exactly. Because eventually you start drowning. What oil should I use on Arkansas and aluminum oxide stones? Just honing oil. You can find it. Just any sort of honing oil will work just fine. Doesn't matter what it is. Just any sort of honing oil. If you haven't used any oil yet, you can use soapy water. But yeah, oil, you just got to get any sort of honing oil. 5 more minutes. And shout out to Joe. What's up, dude? Good evening to you and all in the room. Thank you for dropping in, Joe. I just actually returned something to him. Something you guys will be seeing hopefully here pretty soon. Let's see. Does it make any sense investing my money in knives? I don't see why not. I mean, it just depends on, like, if you know what to buy, then it's not bad. So there's like certain knives, right? There's certain knives that if you invest in, then you can technically sell them for more money, right? There's certain knives that you don't know that are going to sell for more money, but there are certain ones that sell super fast and, could be an investment. But for the most part, it's not going to be a great investment for like doubling your money or anything, unless if you're dealing with customs. I know a lot of people that do that. Don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people, all they buy is the sought after knives, and they'll buy them. They'll get on people's books. They'll buy them for $1,200 and turn around and sell them for $2,000. And they hang on to them for a little bit. They enjoy them because they're passionate about the knives, but they do it to move their collection. So they'll always have like 10, 15 knives, and that's it. So they'll buy one to trade for another one, or buy this one to hold on to for 6 months and then sell it later to get this one. So they constantly recycle their collection, and they can kind of make money doing it. But it took a lot of money to invest to get to that point, though, because you got to think, you're going to buy the ones that are failures. You're going to mess up unless if you listen to the people that already know. You have to go after the ones that are guaranteed, the ones that are sought after, guaranteed no matter what to sell, and that people are wanting. And if you only buy those, they're going to be high dollar, so you're going to be spending a lot of money. But to some extent, a lot of knives do hold value. And if you buy those knives that hold value, you can hang on to them and sell them later and, take back the money. So, and with things going right now, like there are some knives, if you'd have bought them a year ago, they all went up in price. Oh, as long as they were brand new. Do you have Patreon? And if so, what is the starting rate? $3 is the starting rate on Patreon. I do have a Patreon. On Patreon, I only do giveaways, though, just so you know. So if you're going to sign up, just know you're just getting monthly giveaways. My membership is content driven and then some giveaways. But the membership is separate from Patreon. They're both linked down in the description. But Patreon is completely separate than my membership. My membership, we have a live tomorrow at 12:15 Central Time. So I will see you guys there tomorrow. Gotta do what you gotta do. I actually was gonna tell a different story. I'll have to save it for Wednesday. There's this story about jail, but I'll just tell it next time because it was actually pretty funny. But anyways, it's 9:30, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I will see you guys tomorrow, 12:15 Central Time. Whoever, if you're a member, if you're not a member, sign up, and we're going to be over at the sharpening bench, and we will be doing knife sharpening. Hopefully, some of you guys can show up with your stones ready. I won't be able to see you, but if you're there with your stone, then I can help you. Like last night, I actually did a one-on-one live with somebody where I could see them, and they were able to get a really good edge. So I was very happy for him. And excited to see that just through the screens, and me looking at his stone and him looking at mine, he was able to get such good results. He got really good results. So very impressive, very happy for it. And he said it was the best edge he's ever gotten. So super happy to hear that. And if you guys show up tomorrow, hopefully I can help some of you guys, improve some skills, even if it's just little things. It's amazing how sometimes it's a little detail that all you need to know. And if you just knew that little detail, how much better your edges would come out. And also, you might have good edges, but like just a little bit of information can put you to the elite level edges, which there's a big difference between a good edge and like a professional edge, or a good edge and an elite level edge. Completely different edges. Guys, thank you guys so much for all the donations. Thank you guys for hanging out with me all night. Thank you guys for hitting the damn like button, using my links, becoming members, Patreon members. I do appreciate it, man. I appreciate all the support and love. Until next, work hard, stay tough. Society's relying on you. Until next time, peace.